He had Hulkenberg fake a lockup to try and go through the escape road to not be first. Stroll was like, I'm not having any of that, pulls all the way back. And and then everyone just messed up completely. And it was hilarious for us, but it must have been absolutely dreadful for the teams. I can't imagine what those after post qualifying talks were like.
They would have been furious.
Yeah, he just looks so silly. But it also shows you the importance of things like that. You can see how the toe is so important that people are risking essentially track position in order to get it. It just is so powerful. So
no, absolutely. Around here as well, it's going to be interesting to watch. I think the Renault team will give us a good show.
Yeah, hopefully. All right. So looks like we're ready to switch over. Okay. So we've got. You can see it's overcast. My weatherman is telling me that it will be all dry and partly cloudy. So that will explain it. That might make the track temps a bit iffy. But otherwise, all good. You can see people immediately out of the pits. Both of the Racing Points. One of the Renaults, I would bet it's Revo. And one of the Ferraris have already gone out. Ready to start their flying laps. So 18 minutes, of course, in qualifying. And once they're all done, we'll be able to get this race underway. Okay, so let's jump on with one of the Racing Points, Apollo Pepsi and Flyboy. Apollo Pepsi, the first car out on track, making his way through. Yeah, chicane after the coming straight.
It's interesting for both the Racing Points to come out at the same time. I wonder if they're planning on doing a tow.
Possibly. We'll have a look. So, just based on order, that would mean that Flyboy gets first right, and then maybe they flip on the next session. We'll have a look. To my best guess, from what I understand, the tow is for the main straight up through Rouge, top of Radion, and then overtake through the Camel Straight for the rest of the track. I think that's where you maximise the tow. So we'll have a look and see if whether or not Flyboy makes the jump from Apollo. So, going through that bus stop chicane now, so around that corner, crosses the line. Okay, so that's going to be Apollo's flying lap now with Flyboy close behind. Let's monitor these guys, see what happens. Jump back to Flyboy, actually. Just get it from his perspective. So we go down into Rouge, up through Radion, and I don't think it's going to be a tow. Apollo is way too far ahead. I think Apollo's going for his own flying lap, so I think both of these guys are just trying to see if they can set the fastest time on their own, which is fine.
If you look back a bit, Revo's getting a very nice day from Bandcamp. They timed that absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, they've been practicing that pretty much all week. You can see the dots there.
I was watching that from the start. That was fantastically done. Bandcamp obviously has been practicing with Revo, as you say.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you can see Apollo, massive lock up there, coming through Rochelle. So he'll have to back out. That's allowed Flyboy to get past. So we'll see what kind of time Flyboy can post, seeing they're not shifting up into 8th as you move your way down to campus, simply because you end up losing momentum if you shift into 8th and then back down again. You're better off just holding those high revs, turning into the corner, and just letting the current momentum do the work. Now as he makes his way through Blanchimont, on the outside there of the track, and then hard braking here at the 100-metre board, through the bus stop chicane, nice apex use, and again, using all the track up through the gears, he'll cross with a 1:43.4. but I'm sure Revo will cross the line any second now. 142.6.
Oh, that is a ridiculous time.
That is a pretty quick time. So Revo will take provisional pole. Flyby currently sitting second. Gus Rules has come past with a 144.068. That's put him in third. Apollo Pepsi with a 152. Aborted lap, but a time nonetheless. Geordie comes through in the Alfa Romeo, or 143.5. So that just goes to show you the pace we were talking about before. Nut in the Toro Rosso, 145.0. That's 6. Seb crosses the line, 142.9. So Seb is quicker again. Another fun fact too is Seb is now practicing with traction control off, and in doing so has found time on the board. So there's a good chance that he'll be a lot more competitive in the future.
You know, as you say that, today I turned traction control off on this track too, and I found a second.
Yeah. It's.
I turned it off, and I went from 145 to from 145.9 to 144.8.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Turning it off. It really helps around this track. I've noticed. As long as you can stop spinning.
Well, it's well known that using traction control, obviously, it limits the power output of the car, and on some tracks that's really, really good, and on some tracks that's really, really bad. So if you can learn to drive without it and modulate the power control yourself, then 100% of the engine is available to you at all times. And you do find time. You do lose a lot of time, especially when that TC kicks in. So it's always time to be found. It isn't the easiest of assists to drive without. A lot of people do get caught out, especially those of you who race on controller. It's a lot harder to modulate your throttle on one of those. Not saying it's impossible, but it is a lot harder for those using a wheel and pedals. It's a lot easier, but even so, again, depending on your setup, depending on the car, how the track, how you control it, it's very easy to spin these cars. Very, very easy to spin these cars. And you see a Red Bull off the track there.
While we're on the topic of assists, I was talking to Geordie today, and I wasn't aware of this, but he is, as rapid as he is, he's actually still using automatic gears.
Yeah, so Geordie's in this weird category. So Geordie drives with a controller.
Yep.
He has a wheel, but he doesn't use it. And the reason why he doesn't use it is because he's very, very slow as Major goes way wide on that first corner, so that's pretty much an abort. Let's jump up with Potsy here, who's coming around the second sector. Hopefully he'll be able to nail his first one. Sorry, back to what I was saying. So he has a wheel, but he doesn't use it. He's slower on the wheel, as most people are when they first use it. And he doesn't quite understand why. And so his theory at the moment is, I'm just going to use my controller. I know I'm faster on it, and I'll learn the wheel later. Him using automatic gears is basically when you I'm starting to muddle my words, but I'll see if I can get them out. When you learn to race in F1, for any sim for that matter, but for the sakes of the discussion, we'll stick with F1. There's a lot of variables on the board. Now, I'm not in any way qualified to lecture people about how to drive in F1, but nonetheless, I've got the mic. The variables that come into it, you've got your steering, throttle and brake application, gear changes, and setups. There are a couple more, but I'm just going with the main. So steering input is a big one, because in these cars you can scrub a lot of speed if you don't use your input correctly. And so for you to get optimal times... Oh, holy crap! Okay, so Potsy...
Oh, Potsy.
Oh, and he mate hit someone else as well.
Was that what he did?
I'm not sure, but that's going to cause Potsy to have a 5 grid place penalty.
Lotus
with
is
Lotus
out.
Oh, and Lotus is out as well. Oh, that's terminal damage. Oh, no way.
Oh, that is bad luck.
So, that's a hard one. because it's very easy to do what Potty did as you come up that complex. It is very easy to do that. Al Rouge and the Radion combined, it's a tempting section of track to go flat out. It's tempting, and it is possible, but you need to have, which links to what I was talking about before, is steering input. Because it has to be fine, it has to be very fine. You can't jerk the wheel in any way because you're carrying so much speed up there. And because of the uphill gradient, the car bounces, it loses its stability, and any extra input in the car is going to throw you right or left, usually left. And as you can see, Potty went left hard. Oh, as he scrapes the wall. Oh, he's out too!
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
Oh, he's not having a good day so far, is he?
So that's 3 cars. Well, 2 cars that are out completely. And Bandcamp, who's retired really early on, he's going to retire with a 144.6. I guess he DNF. Did he crash? God, I hope Band didn't crash through Potsy and Lotus as well.
I don't know.
I'll have to ask him later on. But yeah, sorry. So yeah, it is very, very easy to do what he did. So I don't know if I'd blame him for the reaction, because he was trying to stop, he was rolling back in, and Lotus had nowhere to go, because again, Lotus is trying to do that at full speed. He was on his flying lap, and if you're at full speed, you're on the right side of that track. You're not going to be able to dodge. So
that crash
really
was actually, that crash was actually not too far off what happened to Andre Hubert last year.
Yes, the initial part, that was
the initial part.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then obviously the aftermath came after that. Oh, Smitty taking the scenic route. Okay, but so that's really unfortunate. That's going to cause Lotus and Potty to both start at the back of the grid, and looks like, well, we'll see where Bandcamp finishes. Of course, he did set a time, a 1:44.6. So currently in 12th. We'll see how the rest of this grid goes. We still have 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Big Buckeye boy. Yes, this is PC. Sorry, I was in the middle of a sentence before I read the message. That sucks. That's an interesting development. I'll see if we could possibly watch that again. Okay, yeah, so I did manage to catch it. So here we go. Here's Potsy as he comes around that first corner. So everything's fine. Now let's have a look at that telemetry on the bottom right of your screen. So he's currently 7th gear, punching 310 kilometers an hour. He shifts in at 8, and he's modulating the throttle, puts it way too much, hits the wall, and then as he's trying to regulate the car, you can see Lotus is on the racing line, can't dodge at all, bang, straight into that McLaren, which is an absolute shame. Just have one more look here. Let's just try and see if we can pinpoint exactly. Unfortunately, I can't do slow-mo. I'd love to be able to do slow-mo. But we'll see if we can pinpoint this moment. All right, so he comes through, hits the bottom of Eau Rouge, and it's that curb. So he's put too much steering input into that curb. He loses it, tries to catch it by fighting it left. Does it too much. That's it. Hits the side of Radion, shoots him across. And then, of course, unfortunate for Lotus is he tries to maintain that racing line, punts straight into the McLaren. That is a real shame. But nevertheless, I guess we have to go on. So 3 cars out of this session. 5 minutes to go. Revo is still the provisional pole with a 1:42.679. I'm sure he'll be able to improve. However, he will not have his teammate to prep him with a tow. So we'll see what he can do on his own.
Seb has shot up as well, and Geordie's put in a very respectable time.
Geordie up there in 4th, 1:43.2. So there are a bunch of other drivers that have set their times. Obviously, we got caught up talking about the incident. Let's have a look. So Jacob Meister's at the bottom there, 1:45.8. Apollo, no, that's still his original time. Combined, 1:44.7. He's on the medium. I'm not sure. Let me just double check. I think it might have dropped out.
Your voice was really laggy before. I wasn't sure if that was my headset or your mic, because my headset's been cutting out all day long. I don't know if that was my headset or your mic.
No, it looks like we're okay. It looks like we're back online. Sorry, guys, if that dropped out. Not sure what happened. Maybe me and Revo's internet connections are tied together. Dropped out. That'd be a weird case. CRX in the chat just gained almost a second by changing TC to medium full. Yeah, for sure. Medium's actually so in a couple of F1 drivers have put in their thoughts on the F1 game, and apparently the cars drive more like having the TC on medium than they do on off. Apparently the cars don't just like unleash their power all at once. There is a semblance of TC on the cars. It's not TC specifically, it's a different form of modulation, but it drives similar to medium. Full's just ridiculous. I'll be honest, if you're driving with full, don't. Just switch it to medium. Because you lose so much power on full. And the thing about full is it becomes such a crutch because you put your foot down because you know it's not going to spin. And if you do that and then you're like, oh, okay, I'll switch up my assists, you're going to go into that thinking you can just put your foot down, you're going to spin every corner. So it's not ideal. Alright, so 20 seconds left in this session. Revo, of course, still on provisional pole with that wire. 42.6. He is currently on an outlap, though, so hopefully he doesn't DC halfway through this one. So is Seb. Seb's just started one as well. So we'll keep on here with Geordie, see whether or not he can improve. And that is the end of qualifying officially. Greeny with his finalised time, 1:43.8. Alright, so Geordie will come across the line. Let's have a look. Does he improve? He does, but he will stay fourth. 1:43.1 there. Let's jump on board with Seb. So Seb with a really killer time at the start there, 1:42.8. It'll be interesting to see. I don't think he will, but it would be really interesting to see whether or not he can match Revo's time here. Oh! That's the ball there. No, that's going to scrub some time. Not ideal, but proof of how much Seb is pushing to see if he can improve that time.
Nah, he's lost some front wing there. He's done.
So he's decided to pull. That's fine. So Revo now coming around the double gosh. Let's have a look. Down into fourth. Modulating that throttle. Using all the track available. So just coming outside into the third sector. He is 2/10 up on his time, so there will be an improvement. But by how much? I'm thinking he's probably going to get to the 42.0, 42.1. He might even go into the 41s, but you just be stupid. If he gets into the 41s, that's just dumb.
That would be ridiculous.
Ooh, 42.142. Blistering time there. Blistering time there.
That's absolutely ridiculous. That's so fast.
It's a little fast, yeah. It's a little fast. So anyway, that'll be pole for him for sure. Seb in second there, 1:42.8. Couldn't quite improve on that time. Mikau in third, close behind. Look at that. It's only 300ths. Not even. Just under between Mikau and Seb. T-Mac in fourth. Great drive from him, 1:43.028. And Geordie with a 1:43.187. That puts him in fifth. As qualifying comes to a close. Bro, Revo is a god. He's mortal, so I wouldn't say he's a god, but he's talented. Like, it's ridiculous how fast he is, but it's not like that's out of reach for anyone. That's just practice. That's literally what that is. You can reach that. Like, I respect the time. I respect the talent. It's ridiculous, but you can get to that point. It just depends on how much you're willing to, how much time you're willing to put in. All right, guys. So, just gonna switch over to this. Just have to fix up some stuff here. Then hopefully we'll be able to get back into it. Alright, now hopefully this doesn't disconnect midway through the race. That would be very annoying. For those of you who are tuning in, thank you again. We hope you enjoy our broadcasts. We do as much as we can to make them entertaining. It's a lot of fun for us. Hopefully it's a lot of fun for you. For those who follow and subscribe and all that stuff, all of that helps. So it's much, much appreciated. And of course, if you have any suggestions or things that you'd like to see, don't be afraid to comment them or put them in the suggestion box. We're all up for ideas here and ways to improve our content for you guys. Oh, someone read it up early. All right, no worries.
Oh, okay.
So the session will start soon enough. Okay, let's switch that back. All right, so of course, all races start with a formation lap. Oh my God, where did the cars go? Come back. There we go. All right. God damn it, F1. Don't be like this. Behave. All right, so yes, formation laps. Last chance for the drivers to get some heat into those tyres and brakes. Make sure everything is up to spec and have one last slow lap of the circuit. Spa, of course, 7.004 kilometers. Absolutely fantastic circuit. One of the most famous on the calendar. And of course, one of the most notorious. Spa having evolved a lot throughout its history. And into the current layout. Of course, Spa was a lot longer. They had to shorten it for safety reasons. Gib Truck in the chat. Yeah, me too. Thought it was unlikely that was what it was like to drive the current F1 cars with the edge of mapping. Yep, that's right. Known for rain. It is known for rain. However, in the virtual world, it is all dry. You can see a nice sunny day for our guys.
We've had quite a bit of rain recently in Tier 1.
Oh, I don't want to talk about it. That's it's been pretty horrid. Massive problems with those rain. I have this love-hate relationship with rain events because they're really interesting for us. Really interesting for us in terms of watching. Because you're always like, ooh, how are people going to drive? It has to be. You have to adjust your driving style. Visibility is low, especially if you get caught up in a lot of it. But at the same time, as a person who races, not great, but I get around the track. As a person who races, rain sucks. It sucks. All your braking markers are out of whack. You try to put, even with medium traction control, the car's like, no. So I like it from a viewer perspective, but at the same time, dry races let you see the potential, the maximum potential of the drivers. They fight more. So I'm really weird on that one. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't want rain to just go away. But at the same time, Spa, dry, good. You know what else I'd like dry? Monza. Please be dry. Because Monza's great when people are full limit. When people are like 2-3 wide in the Parabolica, that's racing.
Grid's forming up now. We're nearly ready for the start.
All right, here we go. Everyone is on the track. Revo is weirdly angled on the start grid, but whatever, we'll get over it. Waiting for those lights to count down so we can start off this race properly. And there we are. Lights are out. Away we go. The engines are revving. Look at all that smoke. And it looks like we all get away pretty clean. Revo comes into the start. Everybody side by side as they make their way through. There's a little bit of contact between the McLaren and a couple of cars. But so far, no massive damage. And it looks pretty good. Jumping in the middle here with Gus Rules as they make their way up. Oh, Rouge Wahid is off!
Oh no.
And we've got a Sector 1 yellow flag.
Oh! That was big.
Oh no, and Smitty's been hit as well. Major pain. People are slowing down. It's a virtual safety car. Could it be a restart? I'm not sure. We do have rules in place for events such as this, but considering the majority of the grid took off, we could just be continuing on with this race. Everybody is currently under virtual safety car, which means they have to keep their deltas underneath a certain time. But considering everyone's still on track, I think we're going to go ahead with this race.
just taking stock, Wahid has lost his entire wing and Jacob Meister's missing most of his left side wing.
While these guys are on VSC, let's see if we can see. So there is the start of the race. Everything looks pretty kosher as they come around that first corner. But then, as we were on board with Gus Rules, you'll see, as they go up through Eau Rouge, Wahid just, as he makes it about halfway up in the transition, straight off the track there. And then, of course, during all that talking, we had an incident with Major Payne and Smitty.
Just goes to show how difficult that corner actually is.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous complex. Look, it's notorious for a reason, and it's not just a gradient. Eau Rouge is well known. A lot of people know it. I mean, there's the famous meme, Radion, actually. There's a reason why it's famous. For those of you who are unaware, Eau Rouge, the bottom bit, Radion, the top bit. That's how it goes. If you ever want to pub trivia someone. Eau Rouge bottom, Radion top. Okay, so back to the race. Of course, VSC is over. We are on lap 2. Still on board with the Ferrari from Gus as he makes his way up the aforementioned Eau Rouge and Radion. Shrimp with a 3-second time penalty for warnings. Now, it is very easy to get that up through that complex because the F1 game does not like it when you go over those lines.
Oh, it's so easy to put all wheels over the line there. It's so easy to do.
Mm-hmm. So Revo's still in the lead with about a 1-second gap. Seb trying to
combined. We just
close.
had an incident in the back. It was Apollo.
So Apollo just dropped 5 places. That's pretty heavy.
He got a nudge from someone. I don't know if that was combined or Shrimp, but someone nudged him on an overtake.
Well, I switched back down, but combined seems to be pretty well, so I'm not sure exactly what happened here. We did see Apollo in the list shoot all the way down, so that is unfortunate. Hopefully he'll be able to recover. It is only lap 2 of 22. Usually we have 30 plus lap races. The reason why we have combined in the gravel. Watch the rejoin, man. Be careful with that. Okay, no worries. That's safe. As we get that off. All right. Sorry, yeah, so we usually have 30 plus races, but of course Spa being 7 kilometers long, 50% you end up having more. So that's where endurance comes into it. It's a lot of speed carried at this track. So more focus is required because a lot of these corners will catch you off guard. As we see Greeny try to go up on the inside of Bandcamp, but it looks like Bandcamp's going to have much more speed. It is lap 3, which means DRS is now enabled for our drivers. That will come in handy, especially for the Ferrari here. Let's have a look. Actually, we'll jump on board. This will be interesting to see. Now, as they make their way down through, up into Eau Rouge, let's see. Tuck on the left there, tuck on the right, modulate the throttle well. That's it. And then into the DRS section. Now, Bandcamp's going to have it as well. He'll get it off Nut in the front. And Greeny. So they'll pretty much maintain that gap. But there is a lot of speed to be gained down the Kemmel Straight. As we've seen in real life. Many, many, many brilliant overtakes through that section of track. The one coming to memory is, of course, Mika Hakkinen and doing overtaking Schumacher and Zonda. I believe it was Richard Zonda who was in the middle. Great piece of F1 footage, that. This is a pretty close race. I'm just spectating Greeny here, of course, but have a look at that. From Nut, 11th to 14th. Everyone is within 1 second.
That's very impressive. Even up the top from 3rd place all the way down to 9th.
This is good to see. So that VSC really did shake things up, compress the grid a little bit. Not as much as an actual safety car, but some people know how to flirt the Delta line, more than the others. Have a look here at Combine. No, decides to go up on the inside as they reach Blanchimont. And he makes it work. Gets the position up into 13th.
Good job.
It's a great piece of driving, that. So now he'll be looking to attack Band. Now, of course, there is a little bit of difference here in the strategies. Combine starting on the soft, whereas the rest of those drivers in that train on the medium tyre. So they'll be looking for the longest stint. So Combined will have, of course, early levels of grip over some of these guys, the faster tyre. So that will start to wear away as they make their way further and further in this race. Ooh, Combined having to back off a little bit there.
Seb just overtook Mikau.
A couple of changes here. So Band makes the move on Nut up into 11th. Let's have a look at some of these grids. I'll jump up one. So Nut and Bandcamp both on the same tyre. Bandcamp traditionally more faster. Nut being a great driver, but just seems to get caught out sometimes. You can see Combined now looking for a move here. Yeah, the 50 marker down in the 4th. So we'll probably see a move similar to what he did on Greeny as they make their way up into Blanchimont. How long does the soft tyre last here? I'm not sure. I think it's about 5-6 laps. 6. There you go. Thank you, Ali. Yeah, about 6 and 7. Ooh, Nut putting a couple of tyres into the grass there. Will Combine be able to make use of the braking zone here? Let's see. Looks on the inside of the bus stop chicane. A little bit of contact there, but no damage. However, Nut does have the favourable position. He'll stay ahead. So now it's all up to Combined to make the move in the Kemmel Straight. Looks to go up on that inside line, decides not to. Very difficult here. So obviously he's going to try and tail as much as possible. You do have to be careful though, because the dirty air can really screw with your car up here. He backs off just in case. Oh, but Nut goes way wide! And that's going to allow Combined to overtake easily. I almost think Nut might have done that on purpose, actually, to just let him get out of the way.
Up top, Matsoy just overtook Geordie up the Kemmel Straight.
Yeah, just going to switch up there as there's a nice little train forming here. So Matsoid currently 1.1 seconds away from Mikau, trying his best to keep up with those guys. So Revo, Seb and Mikau, first, second, third respectively. Geordie close behind, 0.4. T-Mac as well, good drive from him. Hopefully he'll be able to maintain this. Flyboy not so far behind either, 0.6. Ooh, as Potsy leaves the session. So hopefully he'll be able to... there we go. So a little bit of a disconnect. Man, what is happening with the internet today? Come on, Australia. Greeny at the back there, just switching onto the hard tyre now. Okay, so he'll be looking to go the distance. Now, Geordie is closing this gap between himself and Matsoid. The question is, will he be able to make the overtake work? Now, Matsoid, of course, will not have DRS where it counts as they come up through Kemmel. And, of course, on the main straight, it's not super effective, though, on the main straight, as much as it is in the next section.
No, the main straight's not very long.
So we'll jump on board with Geordie here in the Alpha. Let's have a look.
Matsoid got a much better exit off the first corner.
Wow, Matsoid has increased that gap to 0.7. However, the DRS is incredible here. Have a look at that. It's starting at 0.7. Chances are it'll come down to about 0.5 by the time they get to the end here. Oof, 0.46. So there is a lot of time to be gained if you can nail that complex of corners and then following up into the straight. We'll see if Geordie can do better in the laps to come. And then, of course, don't forget T-Mac is close behind as well. So any mistake that Geordie makes, that Williams is going to be all over it. I love Spa because the cars push so hard. The car is in 7th gear more than I think any other gear in the entire track. You go down through this complex of corners, and you exit out, and then all of a sudden you're straight back onto the gears. And you sort of modulate here. Well, T-Mac shifts down to 4th there, that's okay. And then you back up to those high gears all the way through Stavler, all the way up to Blanchimont, all the way up to the bus stop chicane. Then you go down a couple just to make that the right-left, sorry. And then whack back up the gears again. As Shrimp makes a move there on Potsy at the back, up into 9th. As Geordie's getting awfully close to Matsoid here. God, he might even make a move. Oh, no, Geordie goes into the pit, so he decides to take out his tyres a lap 5. So does T-Mac. So that's going to allow Flyboy to jump up into 5th. Gus comes in as well. Shrimp decides to stay out. So 3 cars now in lap 7. Deciding to pull the trigger. And they'll switch over to the medium tyre, I believe. Yes. Let's jump up a couple. Here we go. Mikau coming up through Radion. And he's going to get a massive overtake here on Seb. Nothing in it. And the Haas will get past with no problems at all. Now we'll see how well Seb can stick on the back. And try and minimise the amount of time lost. As Bandcamp makes a move on Potsy as well, up into 7th. Revo now out to a 4.6 gap.
Apollo just made the move on T-Mac.
Up in a 12th position at the back there. So T-Mac on the fresh mediums. Apollo with 6 laps of wear. Combined makes a move on Potsy as well. Oh, he was DC'd still. I thought he'd rejoined. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So Potsy dropping down to his teammate there. But he's now back, so hopefully we'll be able to keep going.
They're having a lot of overtakes today. It's just a really good race.
Spa tends to lend itself to that, especially if you get this leapfrog effect. Because the only 2 DRS zones on the track, of course, is that main straight and then the Camel straight. And then after that, it's a nice complex of turns. So as long as the person who gets overtaken can maintain behind the car, you end up just having a massive leapfrog effect. And Mikau and Seb both come into the pits at the same time. Oh, jeez, Mikau almost collecting the wall there. Matsuo decided to stay out.
T-Mac looking to make a move on Apollo as they come towards the bus stop chicane.
Will he be able to make it? You can see him up on the outside of the chicane. There could be a switchback opportunity here, hard on the brakes. No, he'll just fall in line. Plays the safer bet. But this, of course, will mean that T-Mac will have DRS on both this and the next section. Will he be able to make the move on the first one? This will be ballsy. No. Plays it safe again. Don't want to ruin your race here on lap 8. Potsy leaves the session once more. God, his internet is not playing ball at all. Oh, you can see Flyboy there coming out of the pits just behind Seb. This is going to be interesting. All right, so Flyboy's going to make the move on Seb. Looks like T-Mac will do the same on Apollo. Hello there, Pink Panther. Nice to meet you. Have a look at Gus as well. There it is. 3 wide down the Camel Straight. And that is talent right there. That is how you maximize all the track. Very, very sneaky. Didn't see that till just at the end, but Gus Rules took all of that into account. Saw Apollo had no DRS, thought, hey, this will be interesting.
Seb must have had a really bad accident. He's lost quite a bit of his right wing.
Oh no, he's down into 13th. I didn't even notice he was down that far. He must have had an off earlier on in Sector 1.
I'd say so.
Well, that's a shame. He'll probably have to come into the pits and fix that. Spa is not a forgiving track if you don't have the downforce on the front. It's not a track that you run high downforce on anyway, but some of these corners do require at least a full wing. It's combined now coming up on Bandcamp here. Bandcamp going a little bit wide. Let's have a look. On board here with the DRS. Combined will go up on the inside into La Source. Easily done.
Oh, Band getting a much better exit.
And this will also mean that Bandcamp will have DRS on the next straight. So let's have a look on board with the Renault. Oh, what a great set of corners there. So into the DRS section. Here comes the Renault. Good day to you, sir. And have a look at Mikau as well. Oh, Combined doing the really smart thing there. Pulls himself into, in between both Band and Mikau. So, of course, Mikau couldn't go for that late break. Oh, Combined, Jesus. Pushing on that wheel a bit hard.
Oh. His tyres must surely be going off by now. They're 8 laps old on softs.
Oh, they'd be shredded. They'd be shredded. He won't be able to carry a lot of speed. You can see he moved out of the way for Mikau, no problem. He knows that's not his fight. He's got to. All he's got to do is survive and get back into the pits and put on those fresh shoes so he can go out there and start battling. But have a look here. Mikau's like, I took one, I'd be happy with another. So he'll be looking to make his way past Bandcamp. But of course, Bandcamp, well known as the master of defense. That's what we like to see. Band doesn't leave positions. That's not his style. He makes you work for him. As Mikau gets a much faster exit through here. They're still technically side by side. No, Band pulls in behind. So Band decided he goes out a little bit wide. Mikau takes the position, and now Band's going to use all of this toe to his advantage. It's a smart move, knowing that the DRS sections are ahead. But it'll be interesting to see how much speed Mikau can hold through all of this, because Mikau is faster on a straight line. You can see he's got the DRS, but it's not doing anything. So it'll be in Mikau's favour. The question to ask will be, how much speed can Bandcamp recover through the Camel Straight?
The Band still has to pit, I believe. I think he retired so early on because I think he actually wanted to start on the mediums.
And as you can see, had the DRS but didn't get it underneath 0.8. So Mikau is incredibly fast in that car. Wow, yeah, no pace there. Okay, fair enough. So Bandcamp won't really be able to catch Mikau at this rate. Mikau, of course, on a fresh medium, so he will have the additional grip. But Bandcamp's immediate concern right now will be Geordie, who is closing that gap at a pretty decent rate. Almost underneath that 1 second mark now. Let's jump back a couple of positions with T-Mac here, who's looking to make an overtake on Nut. Tries to squeeze up on the inside, not quite. So he'll fall back in line again.
That was close.
There's a really good grouping of cars. Oof. Lesson 1 in alliteration. As we watch T-Mac here in 8. Jacob Meister with a 3-second time penalty. Let's see, can T-Mac get the speed required? He's looking to go up on the outside of the bus stop chicane. Oh, there's going to be contact there with those wheels.
He broke very, very late.
Not putting a WD-40 on the gate hinges there. Testing, make sure they work. And have a look at this, all the way back down to Apollo, who I believe just lost his end plate.
Oh no.
I have no idea how, but okay. So he'll be upcoming through. This will be interesting. Will we see handling issues? Yes. Yes, we did. But at least he kept it on the track. All right, so now Gus Rules coming up behind. Something's happened. Oh, it's a VSC. Oh,
VSC?
Oh, it's a VSC. Okay. That explains the immediate slow setting of all the cars. No worries. Now, what happened there? It must have been...
Lotus retired.
Yeah, DNF. Okay. Oh, well, there goes the VSC, and DRS is now enabled, so we're all back on. Lap 11 at 22. We are at the halfway point. And as a wise man once said, with half the race gone, there is still half the race to go.
Cannot argue with that logic.
All right, so T-Mac looking to get past the Toro Rosso. He's going to try and do it on the outside, not holding that inside line. They've got to be careful, though. They don't want to get damage here. And at the same time, throughout all of this, Gus Rules is waiting for one of them to make a mistake, both within 0.3 of each other. This is racing, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we like to see. Apollo. But he goes out a little bit wide, and Apollo has crashed out.
I saw that just behind. That's unfortunate. He hit that corner just a little bit too much speed. Lost the rear end.
Now, he did have wing damage, so that handling wouldn't have been great. T-Mac having a bit of difficulty trying to get past. Nut here.
I'm wondering if Potsy was also involved in that, because he's lost quite a bit of his wing.
Possibly, but Potsy is not rejoining, so that's going to be the AI. Potsy disconnecting too many times. He's decided he's had enough. All right, here we go. A very close train up through Eau Rouge into Radion. Everybody still on that. Oh, the speed from the Ferrari is like nothing else. T-Mac's going to overtake on the outside. Gus is going to use the toe. There's a little bit of contact there, but he makes it past as well. Wait, no, Nut holds it! Oh, there's contact now!
Oh.
Nut tries to save his position, goes way too hard into the braking zone, ends up tapping the back of the Williams, and now he's lost all of those. Oh, man.
That sucks. That's really unfortunate, but I don't think he got any damage, which is nice.
No, it seems like the wing is still on. I was expecting Gus to try and use the toe from the back of that Toro Rosso to see if he could squeeze in between and take the inside line coming into the next complex of corners, but he didn't. And then I saw Nut sort of not brake, and then when he realised it was too late, hits the back of T-Mac. Now, these cars are very stable from that rear end, which is good because, of course, the engine is mounted there and that's where the majority of the weight is. So if you do get tapped from behind, you tend to be able to keep the stability, not necessarily for the person who taps you, because, of course, the front end is a lot lighter, and that's what happened with Nut. He hits the back of that car, spins out. Lucky for Gus, though, because that car spun all the way in front of him and he managed to avoid it, because you don't want to see, like, one of the worst things is when someone spins out and then the car behind has nowhere to go. These guys race very, very close to each other, so it's good to see Gus manage to get out of that pretty scot-free. As Matzoid, let's jump up with him for a little bit as he's trying to catch up to Bandcamp here. Fresher tyres. Flyboy lurking in the background as well. On board here with the Red Bull. So much more speed than that Renault.
Oh.
Now here's a good question. I'm going to switch over to Flyboy. Can Flyboy catch Band? That's not even a question. Or actually it might be. Will he go up on the inside of the braking zone? No. He plays it safe. So Bandcamp loses a position. Ooh, it's Gus rules. Tries to make a little bit of work there, but it doesn't quite happen. So he'll have to back off.
I think he had a slight lock-up coming into that corner.
And that is the risk, of course, when you try and play these braking zone games. These cars will stop very, very quickly if they're set up right and if you know how to modulate your braking. But the problem is, if you the more speed you carry, of course, it means the more pressure that you need to apply. And then if you're not running ABS, your lock-up chances are ridiculous and through the roof. So Gus Rule's trying to extract the performance of that car, but getting a little bit off-center. So he'll have to stay there in 8th. But he's still well within that 1 second gap. So we've still got, what's that, 9 laps to go. So I'm sure as long as he keeps his head on straight, he'll make a move in no time. As Revo explodes the gap out to 10.8 seconds now.
That is just insane.
It's ridiculous. That guy is just next level. Absolutely next level. Flyboy.
Fantastic to see, but it's boring to watch.
Well, yeah. In terms of battles, yeah, sure. So, alright, so Bandcamp pulls into the pits. He'll be switching now, so I assume he'll switch to the soft compound. Yeah, that makes more sense. As Gus has lost quite a lot of time to T-Mac here. Hopefully he stays within the 1 second through this detection zone. Yes, okay, so we'll at least have that. Let's see if he can bring this back. But he's got 0 ERS, used it all trying to catch up. And wow, yeah, T-Mac will hold that position well. Both on the same tyres, same kind of wear. No damage. So yeah, T-Mac must have just had a much better exit coming out of the source.
Let's say so. Into Puan. Of course, a very, very difficult corner. It can be very tricky. That inside curb's killer.
You don't want to touch that. That's God. It's ice. So here on lap 14, these gaps have really exploded now. The only 2 people in, or 3 people in contention. We've got Gus Rules, who's on your screen right now, within that 1 second mark. Wahid just made the overtake on Potsy's AI at the back. He'll go into 15th. And Combined, who is trying to chase down the Toro Rosso of Nut.
Oh, very late on the brakes by He's in the pits.
Yep.
That makes sense.
All right, here we go. So Gus is now closer to T-Mac than last time. Will he be able to catch him? I'd say so. Here we go. DRS on. Screaming past 330. Well, he does catch, but not enough to overtake. Ooh, as Matoid picks up warnings there. Oh, Gus.
Nearly loses it.
Got to hold on to that car, man. Don't want to bin it now.
Jacob Meister looking to make a move on Nut. Going on to the Camel Straight.
Let's have a look. He lines up behind the car. DRS wing open. Shoots to the outside. And he'll make it done. Oh, Nut cutting really hard on the inside, trying to get close. Luckily not losing the car. Nut decides to have a peek. But I don't think he's going to make it work. No, they're still side by side. Oh, have a look. The Toro Rosso. Okay.
Overtake.
Okay. So Jacob Meister pulls on the DRS, makes the overtake into Malmedy, and then Nut decides, hang on, I don't like this idea, and he takes it back. That's a great drive. I'm so I keep telling you people, he's a good driver. He just has really bad luck.
Now, in saying that, most of the reason for that possibly is because Jacob Meister is on 13-lap-old mediums.
No. Semantics. Total semantics. It's because Nut's better.
Okay, no, it was good.
But no, that's a good point. Jacob is on 13-lap-old mediums. Nut on fresh softs. So, you know. Don't ruin my dreams, man.
Sorry. Gus Rules just took 6th place back from T-Mac.
Yes, he did. Up as they come through Malmedy now. So Gus Rules does get the move done. Up into 6th place. T-Mac will now have to play leapfrog to get back. I'm sure he'll be able to do so. T-Mac, an excellent drive, both in qualifying and here in this race. As we got to keep an eye on Flyboy, who is approaching the back of Matzoid.
Band also just overtook Combined, putting him back in 9th place.
So Band now going to try and chase down Shrimp, currently 6 seconds behind, but on soft tyres. So we'll see how it goes. Combined YouTuber, 3-second time penalty.
He went wide at Puan there.
It's very interesting to see here. So Flyboy was very, very close to Matoid through Sector 2. But now as they come through Sector 3, Matoid is just gone. He's still within the 1 second mark. And he hit the detection zone, so he will have DRS, but it's exploded. Let's have a look here. I'm going to jump on board. So let's look at Flyboy. Coming down into La Source now. Hard on the brakes. He's within the 1 second. Let's have a look up through El Rouge. I'm guessing Matzoid might lose him here, and he does. Let's pass the 1 second mark. Oh man, Flyboy just lost out then.
Flying away.
That's it. He won't have DRS. Oh wow, Matzoid. That is okay. That Red Bull has some wings for sure, or lack thereof, rather.
T-Mac just overtook Gus Rules on the Camel Straight. As you said, a lot of leapfrogging going on down in that section of the track.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's. I mean, if you can maintain the gap between yourself and the guy who overtook you for the remainder of the lap, as soon as you get to that straight, it's going to be no issues. Or you can do the complete polar opposite and be like Matzoid and just turn on party modes as you make your way down through Eau Rouge and completely lose the guy behind you, and then he's got no choice. Ooh, Wahi, 3 second time penalty there. So a lot of penalties happening here, and it tends to happen on tracks with a lot of speed. People trying to push the limits of the grip, trying to push to get those seconds, those tenths, those hundredths, and just edging over the line, and the game penalising them for it. It'll be interesting to see how that all calculates though at the end, because sometimes we have races where the penalties just stack up so much that people jump like 4 positions. So
League racing it's a lot about your pace, but at the same time, you've got to try and keep your nose clean, or else you will lose a lot of positions.
And that shows you the importance of keeping your nose clean. Little mistakes, they add up, man. Band is one of those really prime examples. He does everything he can to not do those. Sometimes playing a little bit conservatively to make sure he doesn't hit those track limits. But it pays off in the end, because most of the time the people in front of him have got like 3-6 second penalties, just whoop, straight up jumps. All right, so Gus Rules coming up through Radion now. He'll be in the DRS zone, but he's very far behind, 0.6. He'll be able to catch up, but I don't think he'll be able to overtake. No. He's maintained that. T-Mac must have drank whatever Matzoid drank. The cars are just so fast down the straight. Not with that paint job, they're not. Sim racing at its best. But anyway, power to you. So T-Mac will stay ahead now. Gus Rules having to make sure he sticks as close as he can to that Williams. Ooh, dancing with death. Oh! So you can see he just kisses that inside curb to maintain that racing, the preferred line, but not so much that the wheel lifts up. Because if the wheel lifts up, that's all the stability gone, and you slide and you have yourself a merry old day. As Revo sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:45.8. Currently 15 seconds ahead of Mikau.
That's those fuel loads lightening up.
Mm-hmm. So Flyboy is completely now outside Matzoid's range, 1.2 seconds, which is a shame because I was really hoping for a battle there, but we'll see if Flyboy can pick up the pace closer to the end. We've only got 4 laps to go, or 3 laps to go rather. So the only close battle so far is the one you're watching. Gus Rules in the Ferrari. And he'll be looking to try and maintain the gap as they come up through this complex. Otherwise he'll lose too much time. That's a good one. That's a good one. 0.5. He's going to catch T-Mac for sure. Let's have a look. Oh man, what is with that car?
T-Mac is just absolutely
He's so
hammering
fast.
it.
He's so fast down the straight. The Ferrari had DRS, and T-Mac's like, that's nice. Wow, massive setup differences there. Massive.
It is. The other thing about coming up Eau Rouge and Radion is just, if you're not careful and you go a little bit out wide, it's amazing how much, even though it doesn't look like it, it's amazing how much speed you can actually scrub by just turning a little more than what you need to.
Yeah, that's right. That is true. It's very deceptive, and it's also one of those corners where, as we saw with Potty in qualifying, bad things happen. Was it Potty or combined? No, it was Potty.
Yeah, it was Potty.
Yeah, it was a McLaren. For a minute, I had a mind blank. I was like, well, but no, it was. All right, so that's sort of demystified the question, which is, of course, Gus Rules is running a higher downforce setup because all throughout the technical section of the track, he is right up the back of that Williams. But as soon as they hit those straights, he is nowhere near. Now, DRS is enough for him to catch. That's not a problem. The thing is, that difference in setup is allowing T-Mac to absolutely escape. So as long as Gus Rules gets a decent exit here, so he's floating around that 0.4. So we saw him at 0.5 up at the top of Radion, and that was enough to sort of just keep him within the straight. Right now he's at 0.4. That's going to be closer, so Gus Rules might be able to catch him this time around. But look at that. They're almost at the end of the straight now. He's going to have to go late on the braking, and he decides to do so. You can hear the lock-up on the front right. But he gets it done, so Gus Rules now in 6th. Great drive.
Good move by Gus.
Finally catching up. So Gus now has to try and lose T-Mac through this technical section. Through all of the following corners, because that's where he's going to gain the most time, because as soon as they get back to La Source and they travel up that infamous corner, T-Mac is going to be all over the Ferrari, and it's going to be like nothing you've ever seen. Except a couple laps back when he did it. But You get the picture.
He is putting significant distance between himself and T-Mac though. I mean, it's up to 0.7. Oh, he ran wide.
Oh, God. T-Mac's going to make the overtake in through Blanchimont. Guaranteed. Let's have a look here. How much speed can he carry? Gus Rules knows he's in a bit of trouble. But there's also a strategy call to be made here because we are on lap 21 of 22 as T-Mac goes up on the outside of the bus stop. T-Mac knows.
Smart. Yeah,
T-Mac knows. All right, so it's lap 21 of 22. So this is where you really start have to thinking about strategy, because we saw a similar instance where Bandcamp got caught out in Abu Dhabi because he decided to overtake the lap before, and that allowed, I can't remember who it was, but it allowed him to get jumped on the next lap, and then it was all over. Now T-Mac's achievement will be, oh, so much more speed! He's not even in the DRS zone yet! Oh, goodbye! And you can see T-Mac, no, you can't have my toe. Go away. So now, it's going to be integral, absolutely integral for Gus Rules to make sure he stays well within that time. And then, once he makes the overtake on lap 22, he has to make sure that he doesn't get jumped through the last part of Sector 3, through Blanchimont, through the Corporal Frere, or whatever that section's called. Because it'll be T-Mac's win. So T-Mac will have to make sure he's so far ahead that he doesn't get jumped, or he'll have to make sure that he can keep up in through the technical sections. But as it stands, Gus is having a bit of trouble here. It's currently 0.8. This isn't looking good for the Ferrari, but we'll stay and watch. Revo crossing the line, setting another fastest lap. Currently 18 seconds ahead of Mick. That's so ridiculous.
That's very, very, very far.
All right, I might just jump up a couple of positions here, as Flyboy is now within that 1 second gap to Matzoid, but he falls into the same problem. If he doesn't catch Matzoid up on the Kemmel Straight, he will not be able to make a move.
Band is looking to overtake Shrimp. I dare say he's going to get him going up the Kemmel Straight.
Well, we'll stay on board. So, as we watch Bandcamp try and make the move up into 8th, keep an eye on the left on that board. Oh, wow, Flyboy might actually do it. Nope, just behind. That's okay. Back to Band. So, Gus Rules is trying to catch up. So, Band's going to make the move on Shrimp, no problem. Shoots over to the left. Thank you very much. He goes up into 8th. Switch up to Gus Rules, who didn't make the overtake. So as long as T-Mac holds this speed, he will have 6th place. And unfortunately, Flyboy probably won't be able to catch Matzoid at that pace. So it looks like Matzoid will finish 4th.
Jacob Meister just had an off after Blanchimont. He's
DNF'd, yeah. Oh, wow. Imagine crashing now. That's wicked.
Didn't T-Mac do that last season?
T-Mac did do that, and I'm going to remind him. Thank you. I haven't spoke about it all race. He thought he got away with this, but he didn't. So yes, T-Mac was on the last lap of the race fighting with Coach, I believe, and that ended up punting it into the wall as it came up Radion. So, yeah. Sucks to be you, T-Mac, but you know I love you. All right, so Flyboy is looking to try. Will he go desperate into the bus stop chicane? No, it's not really going to work. So Matzoid will take 4th. Gus Rules looking to do the same, but he's way too far behind. Oh, Matzoid with the penalties, though. Flyboy will take 4th. Oh. Good job, sir. As T-Mac holds 6th position, Gus Rules comes across in 7th, and Bandcamp will cross the line in 8th place. So the rest of the drivers now make their way across the line. So congratulations to Revo for taking yet another round. Mikau 15 ends up 15.7 seconds behind. Geordie with a really good drive there, up in 3rd. A shame for Seb, all the way down in 9th. So he got knocked out really early there.
That mistake early on definitely bit him.
It's a massive shame too. He had a lot of speed, gained a lot of speed in practice. Really shaved down the seconds, but having, it looks like, a little bit of an off as he came out of that pit lane, shot him down all the way down the grid, and he didn't seem to recover. So he does score with points, 2 to be exact, but not a great result for the Red Bull driver. However, Matzoid, of course, did finish up in 5th, so decent points, I guess. But great drive from Geordie. Puts himself up in 4th. And T-Mac too. Well done, T-Mac. Didn't put it into the wall. Very proud.
I'm very impressed with Geordie. I thought he was going to do well just looking at his practice times.
Everybody always says, you know, how good the graphics are and this and that. Wow, so realistic. I'm waiting for the day where we can virtually taste the champagne. That they just... So I'm there. I want to have the taste of champagne and confetti in my mouth.
That would be a fantastic game.
Okay, so that is the race done. Of course, Revo does take the win. Did pick up a 3-second penalty there, so that's interesting. Mikao in 2nd, Geordie in 3rd. Flyboy with a great drive picks up 4th. Matzoy did get 4th on track position, but of course picked up the 2nd. So we were talking about clean racing, so he'll take 5th. T-Mac, great drive, 6th. Gus Rules in 7th. Bandcamp puts himself in 8th. Seb, unfortunately, in 9th, but still in the points. And Shrimp will pick up the last point there for the Alpha team. All right, guys, that's all we have for Tier 1. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I know we have. Don't really go anywhere. Stick around. We do have Tier 2 around the corner. So, yeah, my name's Kunai Zero. This has been Psycho. Hopefully you've enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys.